Hello there, Aries, and welcome to your monthly forecast. This is for the month of August. Believe it or not, we're actually 2/3 of the way through the year, and I was inspired last night to do a meditation for all signs in the zodiac and to see if I could find sort of an overarching thread to help organize the readings this month. And what came through was this feeling of power and energy of transmuting. I saw kind of a combination of two cards, the Magician and the Moon. The Moon is all about illusions, about intuition, about being able to sort of face your fears, and the Magician is about channeling and changing and shifting. So this month, as I look at every sign, what I want to make sure that I do is identify those pivotal moments where you feel like you're stuck, but you're not really. And I'm going to try to go a little bit deeper than I normally do whenever I see a reversal or a message that's showing that you're at a dead end or that there's something there that maybe you've been sweeping under the rug. I'm going to try to help you this month to shift the energy, change the perspective, and to move or elevate your energy to a higher frequency. Now, I'd like to start off by reminding everyone that you can use these readings for your sun, your rising, and for your moon sign. You can also watch on someone else's behalf if you want to look in for a loved one or for maybe a family member. And if you don't happen to know all those different parts of your chart, your sun, your rising, and your moon, just stick with the sign that you were born under and you'll get more than enough information simply by doing that. To all of my returning viewers, I'd like to welcome you back and thank you so much, not only for supporting me, but more importantly, for continuing to work on yourself. That's why I show up here every month. It's a little bit of service, and it really is to help inspire, to inform, and to hopefully empower you to make the best decisions you can in your life. If this is your first time stopping by one of my videos, first of all, thank you, and secondly, let me introduce myself. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and this is how I organize the reading each and every month. I'm going to start off in just a moment with some channeled information, probably my favorite part. That's where I use my intuition alone, and whatever comes through, all the different senses, I will talk to you about that and just basically relay some information from spirit. After that, I'll use a deck of cards and we'll lay out a full Celtic Cross. And when I do that, whatever is the most important thing to focus on, it will really come through that Celtic Cross. And then I like to expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny after that. And this combination really allows for you to get a nice deep dive into all of the opportunities, the highs, the lows, and the in-between for the month ahead. Now, if you enjoy what you see here, please stick around until the end because everything here is viewer supported, and right between the review and the closing word, I'll give you some information on how you can support the channel. And this includes everything from booking an appointment to liking me across social media to also giving a contribution and becoming a patron if you'd like. In fact, I have a new way that you can do that, and that's simply by clicking the join button below the video. Again, I'll get into all of this at the end of the video, but I know you're very much interested in the forecast, so let's get into your channeled information right now for the month of August. As I was meditating over your cards and really tuning into the sign of Aries, what came through for me was a feeling of someone that was kind of running to the edge of a pier and diving into the water. This feeling of not only kind of like taking that leap of faith, but also that feeling of letting go. And there's sort of this symbology whenever you're kind of going into the water that you're being sort of baptized or christened, or there's this chance to let go of everything. A clean slate, if you will. So I wrote down, very simply, leap of faith, but there are those extra elements of giving yourself some forgiveness. And in fact, I think I'm going to add that right now because it's really important to, in order to move on sometimes, we have to be able to forgive ourselves. So I don't want to forget this later when I do the review at the end. So I wrote it for you here right now. Forgiveness as well. So it's really, really important for you to let go of something in the past and not run away from it, but run now towards your goal. There's a difference between the two. And I think that's also a pivotal piece that I want some of you to think about this month is if there is something you need to face, there's a reason that I saw the moon when I was looking at the entire zodiac this month. We're being given a chance to look at things that we didn't want to look at, and that came through in the retrograde, but the shadow is going to exist a little bit into August as well. So as that shadow of Mercury retrograde still exists, you have a chance to sort of look at things and think, have I truly worked through this fear? Is there something that I need to forgive or release so that I can focus and increase my frequency, focus on a better endeavor and increase your frequency, or I should say raise your frequency so that overall you're starting to attract better things that are worth your time, and vice versa, things that you should be maybe investing in because you can make a difference. So 2 parts really. Taking a leap of faith, but in order to do that, there's a need to forgive, and it could either be forgive yourself or forgive a decision or forgive someone else. And that's going to be really important, and it can take time, but take that first step towards forgiveness if you can't take the full leap of faith in the next direction. Now, as we look at the Celtic Cross here in just a moment, we'll see what some of those opportunities, those jumping off points can be. There's a particular card in the spread that shows hope, spheres, and opportunity, and I'll pay special attention to that one. I'll also look at what's coming through in the past to see where you're at with that, okay? So I'm really excited now to pull the full Celtic Cross. I'm going to remain quiet, of course, as I do that, but I'll join you afterwards, and we'll see what's coming through for you for the month ahead. What an exciting card to show up here in your Catalyst. Of course, the Catalyst gives you the advice that you need to maximize your opportunities in a month. And this one is saying that success is really wanting to come through and grow. And in fact, we see that in the ego here with the 9 of Pentacles. But before I jump ahead of myself, I want to talk about this card, which to me indicates rebirth. I see this as the point right after you release something. And that release for some of you could be difficult. Your crowning card is the 6 of Swords reversed. The important thing to remember this month is that sometimes we want things to kind of go perfectly. We have this idea of how everything should look. Notice how the road here is twisting and turning, but that end point is worth all of the sort of challenges and all of those windy curves in the road that you're currently going through or just about to go through. And by the way, your point of view is actually pulled back. You're still in some of the uncertainty, some of the shadow here. That perhaps is the most important piece of this illustration, that again, we're going through the retrograde shadow, and that perspective is key. So don't let something in the surrounding kind of take you off your path, something in your periphery. So if there's gossip, if somebody is not believing in you and they're saying things that kind of pull you energetically to a lower level, if your own thoughts are also kind of anchoring you and not allowing you to move forward, then this is the time to release them. This is the time to realize that you're almost through to a really good period, and that whatever is coming into your head right now, it's just noise. It's just the remainder of an old phase. And if you're in a really good space right now, this is also showing me that there's no reason that that can't increase and that you can't continue to surprise yourself. This can be like shedding a skin. So I feel that midway through August, that's when you're really going to hit your stride. The beginning could present some challenges. We're going to look at all of those now, but the end point is going to be very good for you. So let's start with the center card. We have the King of Pentacles, which I love. There's really nothing negative about the King of Pentacles. This is a great card for commerce. It's a great card for nesting, believe it or not, because for me, both the Queen and King of Pentacles are very sort of oriented towards domestic things. So it's a good time for you if you were ever thinking of doing some sort of, home improvements or redecorating, or if you have an office, really trying to kind of feel like you're at home there, clearing the space out. Because the more that you feel comfortable in your surroundings, the more it's going to relate to productivity. It's also going to bring in more money in your life. And this is an important month for you and your home space, your living space, your working space. So if there's anything that doesn't feel sort of the way you want it to be, take some time this month and really invest in improving the space. have you ever noticed how sometimes your entire point of view, your energy, your life, your emotions can change when you move into a new place, or when you change your job, or if you start a new year of school, because everything around you is a new energetic frequency. So that's why it's important this month to take a look at that. I feel pretty good about money this month. We have the King of Pentacles here, and as I said, in your ego, we have the Nine of Pentacles. For some of you, the question actually is in the environment. There could be an opportunity, and we'll look at this in a second. Is it worth investing in that? We need to look at the context of the rest of the cards first. So let's continue with chronologically looking at all of these. So we have the King of Pentacles in the center, and this King of Pentacles is being crossed by the Hermit card, which is showing me that for some of you, there may be a need to sort of have an air of secrecy, or you might have signed some sort of a non-disclosure, or it's important for you to really kind of look around and see who you can trust with matters of money, finance, or resources this month. Normally, the Hermit card can just be about taking it easy, doing some development, maybe pulling back from people in your life. But the fact that it's crossing this card is telling me that you want to be careful with who you trust this month. And make sure that if you do have maybe a new financial specialist, whether it's you're going to a new bank, or you're trying to decide maybe how to eliminate debt in your life, or again, maybe you have a surplus of money and you want to try to do something to invest it, because I feel like no matter where you're at, you're actually strengthening your monetary foundation this month. We see right next to it the Seven of Cups reverse, which is inquisitive. It can be a card of taking a lot of questions and kind of drilling down into specifics. So this month you'll play a little bit of an investigator when it comes to anything that is going to involve you signing a contract, spending money, or even receiving money. You want to ask as many questions as possible, get good representation, and definitely get a second opinion on anything of that nature. Now, I was mentioning that there could be some sort of a secret involved. For me, whenever I see pentacles, particularly when there is an Ace of Pentacles, this can be an announcement. And for some of you, there could be an engagement, a partnership, or some sort of a launch that's going to happen. Some of you may have some news that you're just itching to tell somebody about. And it's exciting news. Again, a partnership, a launch, some sort of great endeavor together. And I think what you need to do first is ask those questions, get that legal representation to take a look at it, because there could be either a chance to reconsider, or again, one of those sort of unexpected blocks in the road or twist and turn. I think you can get past it, because the end is basically the sun here. If we were to pull a card in tarot, that's what I'm seeing. So believe in the possibilities and trust that you and this other party or this other group can work it out. But save some face and save a little bit of explaining by doing that work first, so that when you finally come public and come out and talk about something, everything is ready. Let's now kind of take it out of the vein of work and talk about some other things that could be going on. Now, this can just show that some of you are working on personal development, and you may be pulling back from the public a little bit, as I said earlier. So this could be a time to go to school, this could be time to research, or maybe you're trying to focus on your body and just try to get back into shape. This is a time when partnership is going to work and those kinds of things. So we have two sort of contradictory cards. This is what you want to do. This is the energy of what's going to help you. And I think what's important for you to do, and maybe why you want to pull back a little bit, is just to get clarity on what it is you're trying to accomplish. If you're put in a leadership role, either in your family or at work, which is what the Ten of Cups can also be, then you need to know what it is you want so that other people can see you as a clear and level-headed leader. There is some travel, but there could be some delays associated with that travel. This is your crowning card as well. So what I'm seeing for some of you is it might be necessary for you to take some time off. If you've been working too hard, we saw all of that focus on work and a head that's sort of going a mile a minute, getting some time away from whatever your problem, your project, or the situation that's kind of causing all of this. This is what's going to actually help you come to a resolution. You need some time, you need some space, you need to relax. And once you do that, I feel like there's some really great, again, partnerships that are going to happen after this. So you're going to be playing a little bit of a seesaw this month between I need some space to think about this, then I'm going to come back to the group. Now I've figured this out and we have something that we're ready to share, and then I'm going to bring that out. So I see moments of quiet and then very public moments this month, because we have 10 of Cups, deep past, 4 of Wands, near future, and then also a 3 of Wands here in opportunity. So there's a lot going on with the expansion. I agree that success is at your fingertips this month. The question is, are you ready? And are you comfortable with the fact that this could also take you away from things that you like? Because that comfort zone that I see with the King of Pentacles and the Hermit card, for some of you, maybe there's been a nice stretch where you haven't had to either work as much or be as public in what you've been doing, and now you're kind of being thrown in the spotlight. And it's a great opportunity. You don't have to say yes, you always have a choice. I think it's important for you to ask questions and figure out if it works for you, and that'll be really key to that. There's a lot of outside cards as well, a lot of light, a lot of external energy. So the 6 of Swords can also be about getting out into nature. Whenever I see like 8 of Cups or 6 of Swords, it's reminding you that when you get out of your house, your office, your school, and get out into even just a public park or something like that, this can really do a lot to shift your perspective and get you out of this feeling of being boxed in, which we see here. There's so much beauty here. You have to get out of the sort of closed in energy. And for some of you, the closed in thoughts or perspectives that could be coming through the environment and those kind of groups that are associated with those spaces, your coworkers, your classmates, and your family members. Now, let's get to some of the fun stuff here. If you're in a place in your life where you've been kind of working on your own and you could be happy, I call that single and happy. This month, one of the unexpected twists and turns is partnership. We saw it a few times. For some of you, it's in the deep past. You might have said no to it before. Guess what? It's coming back. So whether it's a second chance at a friendship, maybe there was an estranged partner or coworker or friend that you kind of pushed away, it feels like there's room to mend that bridge this month. Also, if you've been in a place where you just didn't want to get hurt, you've kind of closed down in certain areas, I see a great friend coming through that could change your perspective. At the very least, if it's a platonic friendship, there could just be a chance to realize, hey, there's some good people out there. The other thing is, because the 4 of Wands was reversed, I think it's important for you to realize that you don't have to do this alone. Some of you are really successful working on your own. But this card is saying that success this month and expansion this month is going to come through partnerships. And in particular, I think that your independence is not going to be something that you have to give up. People are interested in tapping into your ability to lead. And so in and of itself, leadership involves kind of stepping out, being independent, and sort of creating a clear path for other people. So trust in yourself, articulate that path, and know that you can still be very visible, still have some privacy, and still be independent. These things don't have to be in silos. It's more like circles that have little overlaps. And so this month, you're going to be pulled around, kind of zigzagging, or like I said, seesawing between these moments of working on your own, working with groups. I want you to try to embrace that group energy though, because friendships, partnerships, money, it's all going to come through on that. There's one really big draw this month, energetically and resource-wise. The cards attached to it are very positive, all of them actually. Right above it, which would show opportunities, and I talked about that earlier, is the 3 of Wands. That tells me that if you decide to invest in something, a project, an opportunity, a relationship, you're going to see returns on that, and you should start seeing them pretty quickly. If this is something that's worth your while and you're not seeing the returns maybe by the end of the month, that's a clear signal that you don't have to keep investing in that. But the 3 of Wands usually shows some immediate visibility plus the next quarter of the year. So as far as I can see, it looks like this opportunity, even if it scares you, looks like it would be worth trying out. Just ask the questions. As I said earlier, engage the appropriate professional advice that you need. And once you've ironed out all of that, and if it still feels good, then I feel like it's worth taking a leap of faith. The end of the month is going to slow down. It looks like everything is sort of busy. We see a lot going on for the first few weeks, a lot of feeling like you're being pulled in different directions. Finally, here at the end of the month, we have Page of Swords in reverse. This shows two things. First of all, I want you to watch your communication because pages are all about the delivery and the receipt of communication. So if you receive any sort of document or email or text or proposal, make sure that this month you understand the context and that you're not misinterpreting. Vice versa, I also want you to kind of check and make sure that someone else is understanding your context and your sort of point of view. Something could get crossed in the wires this month, but because the Three of Wands is underneath it, and because we saw this success card here, I feel like you're going to be able to pass through that potential pitfall. The second thing that I want to talk about with the Page of Swords card, and I think this is what could cause delays for you, is how you deliver your message is really important. I'm not talking just about the delivery method. We're not talking about like phone versus email. I'm talking about the tone that you're using and also how you kind of ease into criticism if that's something that's necessary. Usually with swords in the reverse state, it's about needing to be direct about a particular concern that might have arisen this month. So if somebody is not meeting your expectations or they're, out and out just doing something that's wrong and you need to correct that, try to go at it from either a point of view where you ask a question to make sure that you understand what's going on, or that you start with positive reinforcement about something else that might be working, and then you can kind of focus on the area of opportunity where growth needs to happen. By doing this, you are acknowledging them for all of the things that really are okay. And as human beings, we want to hear something positive before we hear something negative. And I think that this will help you quite a bit. That doesn't mean that you can't say something that's on your mind. It's just a matter of delivery, because what this will do is either speed up or slow down how quickly they can basically absorb that and then course correct. And that's what needs to happen for some friendships and relationships this month, is a course correction. Now, with that being said, if you are the recipient of something that hurts you, forgiveness came through as an opportunity for you to also not be stuck in this sort of darker place that we see here, to go towards something better. So, some people just can't help it, and maybe they really needed to get that perspective out, and they may not have the same sort of level of articulation or empathy that you do. So you could take it as a chance to kind of have a rapid growth moment where, okay, so there was no sort of sugarcoating, but at least I know exactly where they stand and now I can move forward. Usually everything's a blessing, even those painful moments where we hear something that we don't want to hear, because we know how that person feels about us and we know if it's really something that we want to kind of continue to engage in moving forward. So I do think that though some of you will have a second chance, this doesn't come through as I'm not seeing anything here that's showing relationships falling apart. I see some potential miscommunications. I see some questions about how much you want to invest in something. I do see some secrecy towards the middle of the cards here, and I think that really this is going to show up at the beginning of the month, the beginning to the middle of the month, and the secrecy is okay to a point, and then towards the middle to end, that's when you have to start to find a way to come out of that. And that's what we see here. You can't stay in that sort of secret phase forever, but do the work first. Make sure that you understand what you need, what they need. Make sure everyone's on the same sort of mental page, and then I feel like it's going to be okay and hopefully easy sailing towards the end of the month. As we look at the expanded forecast here in a moment, looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny, we'll get some additional insights on what we've just seen, and I'll reflect back as appropriate. Let's start off, in fact, with your health card. This is not just your body. In fact, a lot of times it's more about how you feel, what you're thinking, and energetically what's going on. So let's take a look at health, which is mind, body, and spirit. One of my favorite deities here, we have Lakshmi, which is fortune, good luck. I would also say good health. But when I pulled this card, the message that I heard in my head is not money, love. And I know that that's not even what the health card is about. But for me, what I'm seeing is prosperity in your life can be really measured by what you love, who you love. If you have a feeling of sort of joy and fulfillment, And this is what the goddess is sort of bringing through for you this month, is that reminder that you're already rich beyond compare and imagination if you're happy. So this month I want you to find your place of happiness, of joy, and make sure that you take time to do it. I mentioned that there could have been a delay in travel. I also think some of you are overdue for that vacation, that holiday, that time to just reflect. And we got a lot of cards of reflection and pulling back. Like I said, there was a seesaw between the two. In those moments of quiet and meditation, this month, spend them with the ones that you love, with friends, with family, or in activity groups that really feed your heart and your soul. This perhaps is much more important than all of the money cards that I'm seeing here, the King of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles. You've got a lot of great opportunities, but there's also some development that needs to happen. And what I heard in my head was it's about love, being in love, loving what you're doing, loving where you're at. I mentioned earlier about making sure that the space feels good. And once you've found this sort of sense of self-worth, it will improve your health and it will improve your wealth. And that's why it's coming through here. As I said, it's not always your body. Sometimes it is a central or core thought that can basically vibrate out frequency-wise and kind of touch all parts of your life. So happiness and joy are coming through as something that you need to put more energy into. I see a little bit of that in the deep past here with the Ten of Cups. But the rest of this spread is very much focused on worrying about resources, asking questions, and then sometimes pulling back from people that want to be there. Don't pull back. Make time for that. And if you're not happy with the type of people that are knocking on the door, then do the work this month to attract a different sort of crowd or go out and seek someone who has a similar point of view as you. I will mention one thing that I'm seeing just in the sort of arrangement of cards that does have a health-specific message. We have the King of Pentacles at the center, Nine of Pentacles in the ego, and then the Ace of Pentacles reversed in the environment. All of these cards for me typically indicate proteins and starches, even nutrient deficiencies. So this is a really good time if you're not feeling sort of energetically where you need to be, to work with your doctor or a nutritionist and take a look and see if your diet is where it needs to be. That is something you have to work with a professional to kind of make sure that everything's okay. I can't help you with that other than highlighting that there could be a little bit of a deficiency for some of you. So just watch your eating habits. And for the rest of you, this could just be a general note to make sure that you're eating the right food at the right times of the day, because I feel like there's so much distraction going on, and that a lot of you might be kind of commuting and traveling and going in different directions that you just might not be making time to nourish yourself and rest properly. And that's really essential to be in a nice centered space and to be healthy and happy. So with all of that being said, let's move along now and take a look at what's coming through for wealth. Wealth is not just money or currency. It's also, as we said earlier, how happy are you with yourself? A lot of times self-worth equals your net worth, and it can also be the opportunities and your reaction to them. So let's see what the general message is for wealth and money. Your health card was reversed. Let's go ahead and look at it upright so we can take in all of the messages here. We have the first message being care and compassion, and then underneath that it says, choose to be love, do what is right for everyone involved, offer a helping hand. I would like to start by highlighting each of the resource cards, because when I'm looking at care, compassion, and offering a helping hand, I think this can flip either way. Based on what I'm seeing, it looks like a lot of you are in a place in your life where you might be that sort of helping hand for others, because the King of Pentacles at the center is usually showing someone who has more than enough, and this is about taking care of someone. And so you may be someone who just enjoys giving service to the world, or you have a child, or you like managing and mentoring other people. You're light workers, a lot of you, so that makes sense. However, when we look right above it, this is sort of like the meter in a car showing how much fuel you have. When the reversal is happening, right above this resource card, it's saying, This is a month to reset a little bit. So if you're constantly giving, I want you to nurture and give that care and compassion towards yourself so that you can recharge. And if you've been taking a lot from others, from friends, from family members around you, give them a break and maybe return the generosity and take care of them when they need it as well. Wherever the imbalance is, try to bring it back to center this month. And that's the first message that I see with this. The other one, I really think this is powerful, that it says choose to be love. Not choose to be loved, not choose love over something else. It's choose to be the energy of love. This frequency is going to be especially important for you with communication this month, something I alluded to earlier. When you speak from a place of love and compassion, all is well, all is received, things will work out. When you speak solely from a place of practicality or even trying to just exert power, that's when you're not going to be able to communicate as well. It's going to break down, and it could also make the person break down. So the care and compassion in the way that you deliver messages and also in how much you decide to internalize from someone else, that's going to be key for you. Sometimes when I look at a card, I will read the words, but I actually kind of see through the lines here, and that's what's happening here. It says, do what is right for everyone involved. That message actually is not about pleasing everyone. It's about an impossible situation that can come through this month. I actually think for some of you, it's either about power or money. I mention this because we have the King of Pentacles in the center. Right next to it is the Four of Wands, which is intimate relationships. It can be a best friend, it can be a family member, it can be a blood relative, or just someone that you feel really connected to. And guess what? Right on to the right of this, bookending it, is the Ace of Pentacles reversed. All of this is being driven by the ego, which is the Nine of Pentacles, money, power, independence. And my message here is be careful. And if there is something coming through with maybe an opportunity for you to work for a family member, this is something you really want to think about. It could sully that relationship. Some of you may also be in a situation where there's a gift of money, whether it's inheritance or just someone generously giving someone else money. And there could be this feeling of jealousy that pops up. I want to remind you that we all have our moments in the sun, and unless there's truly something that is wrong or not legal about this, you are going to be okay. You are going to have your moment in the sun too, and that's what this is showing. And this care and compassion card, again, it was reversed, but the upright is saying, just be happy for that person, and then do something for yourself to hopefully get you closer to your own goal. That's the difference between sort of celebrating someone's success and getting jealous. We can get inspired by other people in our lives, and that's a healthier sort of approach, because jealousy is basically just a sort of warped version of love. You look at someone and you wish you could have that, or you wish you could be that. So if you look at that from a different perspective, that's not a lot different than when you're young and you have an idol that you look up to and you think, that's really cool. I'm going to work hard and try to achieve. So if you can go back to that sort of being inspired instead of feeling defeated, you're going to elevate your energy. You're going to support a friend or family member that just found some prosperity and success. And guess what? By letting go of the need to have exactly what they have, or to control, or to take it away, you actually bring it right into your life. It comes rushing in, and you move forward. And when you are successful, they're going to be super happy for you as well. It's a hard thing. I get it sometimes, because you could just be feeling like, why is it taking so long? I want to get there. And I just want to tell you, you're doing great. And cosmic timing, divine timing, it's frustrating. It doesn't matter how awake you are, how open your third eye is. A lot of times it's even more frustrating when you know what's possible and you see everybody else getting what they need in their life, and you're like, why not yet? Realize that that's actually a limiting thought. And I want you to just wake up each day thinking, today could be the day. I'm ready. I can feel it coming, and I'm not going to worry. When it's ready, it's ready. And try to find new things. This leap of faith is also about moving into different areas. So one way to allow for something to come in is to let go of it just a little bit. And I think that's really effective and important for you this month. So there was a lot that came through with wealth. Let's look now at love and see what's coming through, not only in relationships, but also in, we were talking about choosing to be love. Being in that frequency of love is loving yourself, loving your situation, loving what you do, and being able to love and be happy for others. So let's see if there's an expansion upon that message here to help you out. Okay, let's give the cards a shuffle. So it's time to decide. That's what this card is saying in your love area. Make a decision based on your heart's true desires. A perfect message when it comes to matters of the heart. For some of you, this decision could be a decision to accept a proposal, to give a proposal. Again, this could be of marriage, of partnership, or even a business proposal. It's touching the business card here when I'm looking at wealth, so it could be any of the above. The interesting thing is when you look at work relationships or jobs in general, you end up sometimes spending a lot more time there than you do even with your own family. So it's not surprising that we're getting a lot of messages this month about making sure that you do what you love, do what you want, do what you love, and that you also love where you're at and love where you're working, because if not, then it doesn't matter how much money you're getting. Remember what I heard when I saw the health card. I heard it was like all about love, not the money. So you are rich if you love what you're doing, and you will find greater success through your passion because you're going to create so much and inspire people with your energy, with your enthusiasm, that you will attract wealth, that you will attract opportunities coming into your life. So I know there's a lot of overlap in these messages, but I've been finding that over the past few months that's been the case. And I think that's because we're kind of evolving out of these buckets, or we see now how interconnected they are. When I do the review, I'll try to kind of give some more razor sharp focus on each of those, but I am seeing an overlap for some of you. So this could also be a decision to, again, I said be careful when it comes to partnerships, but I see some of you may be working with family here or working with someone that you love. So if that's the case, just tread carefully with that sort of a decision. But if it is your heart's desire, or if maybe you're deciding that you want to take time off from your job and spend it with your family, that could also be the energy that I'm seeing here. That could be maybe to have a baby. This could also be you're deciding to work off-site, work from home, or maybe go into business with your partner so the two of you can go after a joint interest that you both want to kind of pursue. This is a month when it's going to come into fruition. The good news is whatever this sort of passion is that you have, when we look in the opportunities, we have 3 of Wands. So if you want it and you truly feel it, no matter what the obstacles, no matter what the potential pitfalls, it does feel like your heart is leading you down that road. And I support that because that's really what we're seeing here. There's a common thread that I see here, and I want to talk about that. Prosperity, but I heard in my head it was love, not money. And then care and compassion, giving and receiving, keeping that balance. And then making decisions based on the heart. So it's all about love, joy, compassion, your heart. You really need to tune into that this month. If you do that, I feel like you're not going to be led astray, okay? Let's go ahead now, and actually there was one more message that just came through as I was about to do that, and they told me don't keep secrets. My guide said that don't keep secrets, and I looked at the Hermit card one last time. So for those of you that are, this could be an uncomfortable conversation for some of you. You may know something where you need to kind of intervene. It could be sort of like if someone is in trouble, it's an intervention. It could also be something where you're looking out for a friend and you have to kind of choose to have a potential conversation that could make them angry at you, but ultimately could protect them from harm's way. Then that's something that has to come through. So I'm sorry, I got like a flash download before I went to the next card, and I had to share that with you. So for those of you that this message applies to, I just want you to, again, remember that you want to be direct, but be kind, and let them know it's because you love them that you want to talk to them about something. And I think when you start with the beginning of the conversation being, I love you, and there's something that I want to share because I love you, and I always have your back, then you can kind of lead into that if it's a difficult conversation. On the bright side, the rest of you, this time to decide could simply be a chance, like I said, to say, I want to marry you, or let's go into business together, or I'm ready to go after this goal that I've always wanted to do in my life. and I want you to be a part of it, because this is about love and partnership as I'm looking at love. So I think it's going to be exciting, it's going to be healing, and for the people that you need to have that difficult conversation to, you're still, from what I can gather here, doing it from a place of love and protection. So good luck, you'll be okay. Let's move along to your Destiny card. Destiny is not carved in stone, not the way that I read this spread. Destiny in this is a chance for you to look at your trajectory and decide, do I want to rush towards that, or do I need to make some adjustments? Because as we saw earlier, there could be some twists and turns this month, and this card can help you with navigating those. So let's give it a shuffle and see what it says. Your Destiny card was in reverse. The message is about strength, and the main word here is about mountain. When I see the card in reverse, what I am seeing for many of you is that things are going to start to get easier. But there's a warning here that some of you may need to take better care of your health. Focus on physical fitness, physical well-being, spiritual well-being as well. So if you've been really, as I said earlier, that caretaker that's running on empty, this month it's vital for you to take extra care of yourself. As I look at the mountain, it's literally a slippery slope. So for some of you, you could have some sort of an accident. You know, you could slip and fall, you could do something careless with your car or your bike or something like that. Get enough sleep, eat well, don't overdo it. That's the message there. On the bright side and on the sunny side of this, the mountain reverse means you're on the other side. You're starting to get to this side that we saw here, this beautiful view. So don't give up. It's going to start to get easier, and that's what I also see in the ego here. Abundance. This also said success. We have Lakshmi here again with fortune, with prosperity. There's a lot of good things coming through for you, and the key for you is to stay focused, to stay in a place of joy and love, to celebrate other people's success, and to trust in your own hard work, and to keep that vision strong. And even when you are sometimes frustrated at the speed with which things are happening, remember that that fear or that frustration is actually the limiting thought. When you trust in the abundance, that the prosperity is already coming to you, as we saw with the Three of Wands, then it comes all the faster. So let's go ahead now and review everything that we talked about, and then we'll wrap up. The channeled message this month was about taking a leap of faith and understanding that in order to do this, you had to forgive yourself and possibly release something that was holding you back. The crowning card, in fact, was that of separation, release, and moving on. And as we see for some of you, this could also involve reconciliation. That forgiveness could be coming back to someone who you were separated from or felt like you couldn't connect to anymore. Let's go ahead and finish reviewing everything card by card. The next message that came through was your Catalyst card, and with the Gates of Triumph, this is telling you that everything you do this month is going to be touched by success, by expanding, and by moving through your blocks. But in order to do that, perspective is necessary. Whatever challenges are going on right now, they are there to teach you, but they're not ultimately where you need to stay. In fact, you're being pushed to move down this path towards the light, towards the higher frequencies. Your Central card is showing that many of you are already starting to reap the rewards from some of the hard work. And in fact, you might be keeping something under wraps because, as I said earlier, there's some questions that need to be sort of worked out. And also there might be some key alliances that have to come together before that happens. I think that's wise, particularly when it's the case of business. You absolutely want to talk to everyone, and you want to make sure a lawyer is involved in that particular situation. And the other thing that I got, which was interesting, the secrecy and the sort of keeping things under wraps, it's fine when it's a business thing, but if this is about a family dynamic or a relationship where you're worried about someone, then you have to take the veil off. This is when you do need to sort of talk face to face and make sure you get something into the light, because that's what the whole energy of this month really wants you to do. Looking at deep past, a lot of you should celebrate the work you've done to create friendships and alliances. Those are coming through really strong this month. Don't be afraid to lean on them again, because I feel like many of you have done a great deal of giving. This is your chance to either lean on that support or receive assistance. Don't pull back, because this can also show being a little bit stubborn and not letting people come into your life. The Seven of Cups is really allowing for you to clear any sort of mental clutter or cobwebs that you have. Get as decisive as you can with your goals, because guess what? They're starting to manifest, and we see that over here in opportunities. The crowning card. As I said, many of you are in need of a vacation, of a rest. It's going to do you a world of good, so don't hold back. Something unique that's coming through in this review is patience is going to be necessary. I'm seeing that with the Four of Wands reverse. Don't rush relationships. Allow for everything to unfold in the timing that feels right. The same is true if someone's trying to force you into something that doesn't feel right just yet. We see that for some of you that could be a no. So if there is a proposal that you're receiving, whether it's business, love, or a friendship, and it just doesn't feel right, honor that. Don't rush it. That was something that just came through as I was reviewing. When we look at the Nine of Pentacles, I see that spirit of independence this month. It's also saying that it's okay for you to treat yourself, because this can be a card of spoiling someone else or spoiling yourself. Based on everything that I'm seeing, especially that some of you need a vacation, that could be a way that you could splurge on yourself and take care of you. The Ace of Pentacles in reverse is reminding you that anything that you decide to invest in, it should feel good to you. Like I said, don't rush into it, but remember that eventually every opportunity requires a little bit of faith and has some risk associated with it. So based on the cards that I'm seeing above and below, it does feel like this is a good calculated risk. But follow your heart above all else, and remember your free will is the most important thing here. Three of Wands, again, whatever you decide to put your energy into, I see it being a fruitful venture. This is showing progress on that road, and it really is kind of another version of what we see here in the Catalyst. This is literally what that person would be seeing whenever they're starting to look out at the horizon, choosing not to look at any of the shadows or the challenges around them, understanding that they're already 1 foot out the door. For some of you, that could mean that you're deciding to move on, move from a relationship, move from a house, move from a job. But based on the cards below, it looks like this is a great move for you, so that's a good thing. The final card here in the Celtic Cross is reminding you to be careful with critical words and critical thoughts. Try not to give into fear and give into negativity when it comes to speech, and also that internal tape that plays in your mind. It's always better to go to a place of kindness and then ask a question. And asking a question is also an effective way to leading into a critical comment as well. That way you can understand the motivation before you make an assumption. For your health card this month, we have prosperity. This is showing that many of you are already in a good physical state, but this has to do with finding emotional happiness, not necessarily in the job or the title or the money that you're acquiring, but rather in what you're doing, finding passion in the relationships that you're engaged in. And it's a common theme. When we looked at wealth, it was actually about using that compassion and that care to reset your battery, but also if there's someone that's succeeding or doing something great in their life, to be happy for them and to always be in that higher frequency of love. Loving who you are, loving what you do, that attracts more wealth in your life. And in fact, that's leading into your relationships here when we see make a decision based on your heart's true desire. We have 3 things that are all showing a heart-centric approach. And I think this is leading many of you to a decision to either go for something that you want, this will give you the leap of faith, or perhaps to retreat and go down that twisting path and take a different road to the end. And it doesn't matter how you get there. The ultimate message is you're headed on the right path. It's your choice what you want to do this month. As we look at your final card, Destiny, it's saying things are going to get easier. Take care of your strength though. Don't overexert yourself. Make sure that you're getting enough sleep. This is going to help you avoid simple mistakes on the job, also tripping and falling or doing something else. You want to maintain your physical well-being and also protect your surroundings and everything around you as well. By doing this, you're going to ensure that you're going to be able to get to that road of success, to expand, and to see all of that wealth and prosperity that was coming through, and hopefully be able to make the decisions that are bringing you more of that in your life. So to that end, this does bring this reading to a close, but the conversation doesn't have to stop here. If there's something that you want to talk about that I couldn't cover in the general forecast, feel free to reach out to me. I am available for one-on-one appointments where we can pull a full spread, look at all the different questions that are going on in your life. And you can reach out to me by clicking on the first card in the video or the first link below, and that'll allow you to check out rates and availability. And if that makes sense for you, then I'd love to chat. If you'd like to just give back and say thank you, as I said at the beginning, everything here is viewer supported, and whether it's you sharing it on your social networks or actually becoming a patron, it's what makes everything possible, from buying the cards to, more importantly, setting up the time to do these videos. Each of them takes about 1 day to do the hour that you see here, so know that it really makes an impact. So if you would like to give a little bit of support here, there's a new way you can actually do it here on YouTube, and I'm super excited to share it. It's the join button right beneath the video. And this will allow you to basically become a member of my channel. That'll give you some perks like special icons and emoji when we're chatting, but it also will directly allow you to connect with me without having to go to my website or dealing with PayPal or anything like that. You can just click join and know that you're directly supporting everything that you see here. You can stop at any time as well. I'm also on Patreon, and you can give a one-time or a continuing donation through my website as well. So there's a lot of ways to do it, and whether it's $1 or a little bit more if your budget allows, it makes a big impact in everything you see. So I'd just like to say thanks to everyone that's done it before, and if you're considering doing it today, much love and light to you as well. Again, it'll be the second card or second link. Finally, for those of you that have either already done that or just want to give back in a different way, word of mouth is powerful, and I really appreciate it. So when you share my video, it makes a big difference. So if you haven't already liked, please do that and subscribe, and feel free to share this on your social media networks. And if you don't know where I'm at, then click the third card and third link, and this will allow you to connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also join my newsletter. And then when you share that, this video or any of the videos that you see, you become like an ambassador and you help me connect to other people. And I talk a lot about all of us being like lighthouses, these beacons of inspiration and intuition. That's really what I want to do to help the planet. I want each and every month to allow for more people to get in touch with their inner light, their inner intuition, and to teach other people and hopefully lead them into that same path. So when you share it, you help me do that, and I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. All right, with all of that out of the way, I want to kind of end with a few closing notes. The one card that I'm focusing on, there are two actually that I'm focusing on primarily, are the 3 and the 4 of Wands. With the 4 of Wands, remember again that idea of patience, and I want you also to be very present and looking around, because there are some subtle changes that are already underway, and it may be necessary simply for you to change your point of view, because we see this person looking sort of almost with like a razor focus in one direction. Don't forget to look around. Don't forget to sort of get out of your comfort zone and out of your sphere. So if you're always with one group of friends or always in an office, try to get out a little bit, because when you do, you're going to start to see all of the opportunities that are already happening. The 3 of Wands in opportunity tells me that, in hope spheres and opportunity, it's telling me that there's a lot underway. Don't forget to look. Notice that there's even something behind this person. So really be open to receiving abundance from all forms, all shapes, all directions. And I think that this month could surprise you on that path. I hope so. So again, wishing you much love and light now and always. Thank you so much for allowing me to spend the last 45 minutes or so with you. You have a lot of choices, not only here on YouTube, but in life as well. So it's been my honor and my privilege to be a part of your journey. See you again next month. Much love and light. Until then, take care.